All right, so for this section, we're going to continue working with fractions, and this time we are going to use pictures to discuss fractions, okay? And I've got 4 different shapes here. By the way, these shapes are all over the internet. You can actually use them and go through them. I use this sample. There are 4 different shapes, and each one represents different fractions. Now look at the triangle first, okay? So this triangle, notice that one side, so the triangle has been cut in half, okay, and one part of it is shaded green, which is right here. That's the part that is shaded green, and this part, it represents half of the entire triangle, and therefore the fraction that represents the shaded area or the non-shaded area, it doesn't really matter, because half of the triangle is being shaded and the other half is not. That's how we kind of represent that shaded area by a fraction. So half of the shape, that triangle, is shaded, or half of the triangle is not shaded. Look at this square, this square right here, this one. Well, this square has been basically cut into 4 equal small squares, and one of these squares being shaded blue. And because of this is 1 out of the 4 possible total of the entire square, so there are 4 small squares that represents the entire big square. So because of one part of the 4 is being shaded, we say that's a quarter of the square has been shaded blue. Now, can we write up the fraction that represents the non-shaded region, the 3 squares, the small squares that are not shaded? Well, that's 3 out of 4, and that's the way we say it. We say 3/4, and 3/4 represents the squares, the number of squares, or the fraction of the total square that is not shaded. Okay, so that's how that goes. All right, look at the next one. Now the next one is a heptagon, 7-sided polygon. Heptagon, that's what it's called, and one of them is shaded yellow. So that represents 1/7 of the total heptagon that is shaded. Now, if I go ahead and shade however many that I want, now by the way, what is the fraction that represents non-shaded region of this heptagon? How many parts that are left? Okay, how many parts that are left out of this polygon or heptagon? Well, 6 parts. Notice that 6 of these triangles are not shaded. So that means 6/7 fraction of the entire heptagon, it is not shaded. Okay, so not shaded. Now we can play around with this. We can just add, let's go ahead and add another shaded region. Okay, so now how many shaded region, regardless of the color, just let's call it shaded. Do I have a yellow one? Let's do yellow. Okay, yellow is better because we just make it systematic. Here we go. All right, now what are the yellow the fraction that represents the yellow shaded part of the heptagon? Well, in this case, the yellow shaded one, so these two together, there are 2 out of the 7 possible parts of that heptagon that are shaded. And you can go on and do that. I mean, you continue with that. You can shade the middle one as well. Now you got 3 shaded, right? So you can just keep doing that as like these 3 together. That would be 3 out of the 7 is being shaded. Okay, so and you can go on as many as you can, up to 7 of them. Okay, and the last one is 1/16. The 1/16 is this circle that has been partitioned to 16 equal, basically, slices. If that's a pie, that would be like each of these slices, a slice of a pie slices that you see, that's 1/16 of the entire circle. And if you continue like adding, let's say, another one right here, or adding another one right there, so we got 2 more plus 1, that's 3. So now we have 3/16, and you can keep doing that. You can shade 8 of them, and that becomes 8 out of 16. You can, if you shade 8 of these, that become 8 out of 16. You can shade 12 of them, that would be 12 out of 16. And this is how you show fractions through pictorial representations. Okay, now here's a challenge for you. Can you come up on your own and you choose a fraction, and I want you to choose a fraction that is less than 1, okay? So don't choose a fraction that is bigger than 1. Choose a fraction less than 1, and come up with diagrams, any diagrams, rectangles, triangles, heptagon, doesn't matter what they are, octagon, doesn't matter, circles, and come up with the different variation of any type of fractions. Start with half, quarter, a third, whatever that you would like, and let's see what you come up with. Okay, so I just made the 8/16 for you again, just to make sure. So here is the purple region of the circle, 8/16, and I have rewritten the numbers and fractions for the heptagon that kind of got disappeared. Here it is.